Good morning, I'm Steve and this is my photography journey. I'll be taking you along as I learn more about the science and the art of photography. So, where do I begin? Who am I? Why am I here? Well, I remember when I was younger having a SLR camera, and I got this as a birthday present, and I had dreams of becoming a pro sport photographer. I was determined to make this happen, and of course it lasted a week or so, but after that it was mainly used for taking family pictures, for taking pictures of our pets and just holiday snaps really. So it didn't really turn into the dream I wanted it to, but I did always keep an interest in cameras. Whenever I got a new one, I'd research and always find the best one, whether it was for to go on my birthday list, whether it was just for me to buy myself. I'd always try and get the best one, and with that I managed to always stick to compact cameras. Never went in for the interchangeable lenses again, but that was where it all started really. So fast forward a few years from there, and I was using my wife's Fujifilm. I think it was an HS30 EXR, and she'd bought this one fairly cheap just as a good deal, and really enjoyed taking pictures of this, taking pictures of the countryside, the woodland around where we live, our son, all of us out and about in the woods and things, and really enjoyed taking these pictures. And then I'd take the pictures home, put them into Apple Photos and do some editing and things, and some of these pictures are still on our wall to this day, and they are things that I still really like the photos. I learnt to shoot in RAW so that I could edit them as much as possible. The downside to Apple Photos is that you can only edit things globally. There's no masking, no kind of local adjustments and things like that. So I soon kind of hit the limit on this. So the first thing that I did was more research. So YouTube, Google, blog posts, magazines, everything that I could find in order to try and work out how to do this better. Is there another software that I could use? And this is when I found Lightroom. And with Lightroom, after I'd got past the fact that the interface looks very old, and I was trying to work out what's the difference between Lightroom Classic and Lightroom, and I've kind of learnt that now and know that Lightroom Classic is the best one for what I want it to do, but do use Lightroom on the web every now and again as well. But I've now kind of learnt through, again, YouTube, Skillshare, places like that. I've learnt how to use Lightroom, and this has definitely improved my editing skills. So now that my editing was better, I realised that the camera itself was what was holding me back. The things like the burst on it, you couldn't take more than a couple of pictures before the buffer filled up, and it didn't allow you to take any more until it had finished processing. The autofocus was not really a kind of high performance thing. By the time it had found the subject had gone. So these kind of things, and low light performance, that's the other one. Everything was very grainy as soon as it got slightly dark. So again, with the research, YouTube, Googling, and came up with the Nikon Z5 or Nikon Z5, depending on how you say it. This one was what looked like the best for me. And since getting that camera in September 2021, so a year or so ago, I've taken more and more pictures. I've learned to edit them, found new features in Lightroom, found different ways to use my camera, and just generally learnt something new every day. And I've always found that the best way to really learn something is to teach people. And I've learned this at work, because for the last 15-20 years I've been teaching people in the medical field about devices and things like that. So when that all moved online a couple of years ago, there was a bit of a transition there from being in a class, and I think over the last couple of years that skill has really improved for me, and I can help deliver that information, and at the same time I learn. So I've been to various locations, I've been to webinars, classes and things like that, and now I want to consolidate that knowledge that I've got by doing some teaching myself. So you're going to join me on this photography journey. We'll go through the basics of how to set up a camera, why I bought this particular camera, things like ISO, shutter speed, aperture, and we'll go through these. I want to test my knowledge, put it out there, potentially get some questions about it, interact, find new ways of doing things, and learn as I'm going as well. So I'm going to start by revisiting the basics, and just want to kind of discover new things, new ways of doing things, and learn as I go. So join me on my photography journey, and see you again next week. And don't forget to comment, like and subscribe.